For all the people that have checked out, they sure want to talk about it a lot. It's crazy how you've checked out, but yet you're calling up the talk shows to talk about it. What did you make of the Virginia Tech game?
It was a frustrating game, for us to be up by as much as 13, and then just to see that lead kind of wither away, to see them go out for that stretch towards the end of regulation where they went on a 14-1 run, something like that. And when you go cold, to that magnitude, you got to go with what's working. And what was working was our bigs, both of them. They between the two of them, between Eddie Lampkin and Jair Davis, they had 30-something points. I don't know exactly what they had, but it was 30-something. And during that stretch, and you could, you might have the stats in front of you, better than I. How many times did they get the ball during that stretch where we had difficulty scoring, where they went 14 on a 14-1 run? That part was really frustrating to see, because if you have something that's working, you got to keep going to it. And I think that was a very winnable game for us, a game that we should have won. And, yes, Javon Carlos came with a heroic defense for it to be able to go to overtime. They just fell apart in overtime. We didn't, it was a tough loss. I'm not going to lie. That was a tough one.
Coach Chatelain does the radio games with us, and he got super frustrated in the fact that it felt like it was just one screen gets everybody open against Syracuse's defense. Do you notice that? And I know it's really late in the season. Is there any way to fix that?
As far as anticipating the screens, getting over the screens, I don't know. You know what I mean? I hear what they're saying. One screen and then is a wide open three. I get it, but I don't know. You have to change the philosophy. You don't want to switch everything. I don't know. I can't answer that one.
When you look offensively with this team, they scored 82 points in the game, and I'm looking at this team as a whole. Like, do you feel at times they don't know who they are offensively?
Well, and that's my issue, though, because you have to go with what's working.
Yes.
It's not a matter of...
They combined for 37 points, I think, is what it was between Jair.
Okay, 37 points. Yeah. So if they combined for 37 points, keep giving them the ball.
Yes.
I admit that I do have big man bias, and I will always say that. But here, they combined for 37 points. You know what I mean? And we were having difficulty scoring. Give the big fellas the ball, and they're scoring right in front of the rim. And, Jared Davis is doing a great job with this. He does a little pump fake, a little spin move. He's, banging down there in the post, and they're passing to each other. Sometimes that big-to-big pass was a little bit risky, but they seem to, be doing it pretty well. I'd say exploit that. Like, why go to something that wasn't working and abandon something that was working? That's my question.
We had a caller call in and say asking why they don't run plays for Chris Bell, and they clearly ran a play for him at the end of that game, and he turned down the shot. Did he get a better shot for Jaquan that he missed? Yes, but when you're Chris Bell, what would you say to a kid like that? He's got to shoot the ball. They need him shooting the basketball. They got him a good look. It wasn't a great look, but he's the one that needs to take that shot. And how do you get that in, build someone's confidence, or even just get him to take that shot?
It's tough. I can't fault the play that he made, because it actually was a better shot than he had. If it would have went in, then it would have been great. It's one of those shots that were just kind of difficult. Yeah, you could look on the flip side, and could he have taken the shot himself? But I can't fault him for trying to get a better shot. I can't fault him for that.
We might be facing Virginia Tech again the way things are looking at it. So maybe we'll figure if they go down low more. When you're looking at the season and things that they're going through, Etan, like, how do you right now, how do you keep these guys engaged? There's 2 games left. It hasn't gone how you wanted it to. Like, it doesn't look like they're not engaged. Like, how do you continuously say, like, hey guys, we have the ACC tournament still?
Well, luckily, we don't have that problem right now because the guys seem to be engaged. Nobody seems to be quitting. It's kind of been a motto. You've heard Coach say there's no quit in us. You've heard, Red say it. Heard Coach Griff say it. None of the guys are looking like they're ready to quit and throw in the towel. So that's not something that, we have a problem with right now. And if we did have that issue, then, as just a pride of the name across the front of your jersey, that is not something that we do at Syracuse. We don't quit no matter what's going on, no matter what's happening, no matter in this. And I'll say this season did not go the way that anybody in the Syracuse community wanted it to go. But I have to credit these guys for not quitting, and they're going to keep fighting in every single game. And that's what you want. So, yeah, they have some, like Coach said, we have something to play for. It's the ACC tournament, but it's something to play for. That's what we're focused on, and we want to, keep going into the end. So I got to give them credit for that.
Coach Autry gets a lot of grief during what's happening this year, and it's timeouts, it's play calling, it's everything. But isn't it also coaching the fact that he hasn't lost this locker room, and it seems like it would be pretty easy to lose a locker room with what's going on this year?
I definitely agree with that. But the reality of it is, in college basketball, when things aren't going well, the coach is the one that takes the blame. So I was looking at Bill Phelps, and he made a statement today. Yeah. If you saw it, it was either today or yesterday. I don't remember.
Today, yesterday.
So he said basically the same thing. No, any criticisms come to me. Like, bring that to me. The guys are out there. They're working. They're trying. We had a tough loss. And, I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he's saying. Well, that's the situation that Red is in, too. He's saying that the guys are trying. The guys are, giving the effort. They're, maybe a letdown here or something like that, but they're trying. They're going to go to the next game and try to play their best then. That's all you can do. That's all you can do right now. But yeah, we know stuff is not great. Stuff is not going well, and we can talk about that after the season. But right now, they're going to keep fighting, and they're going to stay in it. And, credit to the coaches for keeping them in it, and credit to the players for keeping themselves in it as well.
I'm going to put you in Red's shoes. What's your biggest need coming in after the season?
Well, I think the point guard is the most important position, especially in today's game. That's the floor general. That's the one who is running the show, and it's a very important position. And then also, the five. I got to say, but the thing is, we have so much that we have to address. Address our defense, address our 3-point shooting, you know what I mean? So. Yeah. We got to have a list of things that we have to address. So it's not really pinpoint one. But
we got an hour, Etan, not 3 hours.
Yeah, I hear you. But depending on how the NIL situation is and, what we can get. But, yeah, I would definitely say, between the point guard and the five, those are the two biggest ones. But right behind that would be defense and 3-point shooting. So include those with it.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think I'm being too
no?
We know we have different needs that we have to address, but and we have to make sure that we can retain the players that we need to retain. There's no guarantee that Donnie Freeman is coming back.
Yes.
So we got to make sure that we keep him.
Let me ask you something. With the way this team plays defense and the 2 years that we have, Freeman put aside, other freshmen put aside. Is retention of players that important if you want to readjust the program and the attitude of the program?
Well, I think that they have to definitely identify the players that they do want to retain. But I don't think you just start from scratch, if that's what you're saying, and just, scrap everybody and just have a clean slate like you see some teams do, and they have nobody returning from the previous year. I don't think that's the solution either, though. So, it's a different era. I don't know. I think that there is something to having some type of continuity where you have players that have been through the system, and maybe they didn't get it right the previous year, but now they've had a whole year under their belt, and they know what coach wants, and they can work through the season and through the summer, and they have a jump on things. So maybe that's a good thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think Paulie's agreeing with me here.
No,
but
I think I do agree with you, but I also think you got to make a decision. Okay, we've run it twice with this guy and we haven't made the tournament. It might be time to move on. Also,
yeah, I guess there's an argument for that too. But I think that I have an argument as well.
Yeah, no, because I don't know what the answer is. Actually, I'm just
we're throwing some darts at a dartboard, hoping something lands on the bullseye here.
That's what we're doing.
I just have one last question, and I mean, we're all friends with like Adrian Autry. We want to see him succeed. Like, how much of a blame can you place on what you saw this season on coaching, and do you feel like he's made a jump this season in coaching, or like how do you rate how Red has done this year, just coaching wise?
I mean, the way that you measure the success of a coach is by wins, right? Yep. So if the wins aren't there, I mean, and it's a tough position. It's a tough job. So when things are going well and the wins are piling up, the coach gets all the credit. Yes. Right?
Yep.
So when things aren't going well and the losses are piling up, the coach gets all the blame. That's just the nature of the business. So, you're going to look at different things. Okay, the coach could have done this better. Can they have done this better? Yes, our defense. What is the defensive schemes that coach is running in his practice? What is he communicating to the play? All those questions are all going to start piling once you start racking up losses. But that's the nature of the business. So any coach in that position, those are going to be the things that are going to come up.
Agreed. Thanks, Etan.
Etan, thanks for your time. You and Eric doing the show tomorrow, right?
Yep, we're doing it tomorrow, 11 o'clock.
All right. We'll see you then. And great job on the post game the other night also. That's Etan Thomas. He joins us once a week, usually. This week we couldn't do Wednesday because the women's game is going to be on, so we had him on today.
ACC tournament is getting underway down in Greensboro.
Yeah.